It all started with one innocuous tweet. One line, 7 words. I like the way Candace Owens thinks. And now Kanye West is embroiled in a media battle in which he may never be able to leave. Which, of course, for Kanye West is absolutely nothing new. But let's look at the backlash and what's happened over the last week with the Kanye tweet and where it's led and why nobody can stop talking about it. By this point, most people already know who Candace Owens is, but for those who don't, I'm going to take a quick second and explain it. Candace Owens works for Turning Point USA, a political action group that focuses on educating college students in ways that they don't get educated by their college professors. However, Candace gained fame for having a blog known as Red Pill Black, in which she explains why she, growing up as a liberal, as a black woman, decided to change her mind and change her thinking and urge others to move away from the Democrat Party. Owens earned notoriety for her blog because she dared to stand up against a narrative that's been socially acceptable since the 1960s, in which Democrats who created welfare, Section 8, and other social programs were the only people who could ever possibly care about black people, considering that all Republicans, no matter what they are, who they hung out with, or what they did in their personal life, were inherently racist and hated everybody who wasn't a white male. Owens dared to posit that social programs such as welfare and Section 8 were not meant to help black people, but instead encourage black people not to participate in society and stay in certain neighborhoods and not be allowed out until it was election day. Yes, Owens went as far as to posit that all of these social programs were designed to keep black people under control rather than to help them out of poverty and into society. And this is a stance that I've stood by for almost as long as I've been an adult and started thinking about what social programs did and people that never got off of them. Now, I don't believe your average Democrat voter is inherently racist. I hear some of their talking points and I hear it from the voters themselves, and I realize that their hearts are in the right place. They really believe that they're doing good work by encouraging these social programs. But if you really take some time and look at the social programs, you start to realize that they weren't designed in order to help people who are down on their luck or minorities or anybody else, as much as they were designed to keep the minorities out of common society, at least until it's election day. While I've never used unemployment personally, I do understand what it's in place for. Unemployment is an insurance policy, not for if you get fired, but for any reason that your employer might have to downsize or otherwise lay you off. It gives you an opportunity to at least keep going and look for a job while you're out of work. While welfare is also advertised as a temporary solution to a longer-term job loss, welfare is a program that's very easy to stay on for almost your entire career, and therefore discourages many people to even go and look for work. Why would they look for work when they can stay at home and still collect the same amount of money? And since every time you bring up this point and every time you try to suggest a change to welfare that would encourage people to go back to work, somebody from the left runs out and screams that you hate the blacks, it's very obvious to see that the welfare program was targeted for African Americans. In short, whether intentional or unintentional, it's easy to see where welfare might be construed as a program that's designed to keep black people out of our society. If they don't need to go to work, they don't need to come out at any time to participate in our society. Section 8 and other housing programs bother me the same way for much the same reason. Housing programs are generally restricted to one area or several areas of larger cities, and in these areas it's very difficult to find a house or an apartment that takes actual cash rent. Most of them always advertise that they do take Section 8, and many of them prefer it. During a conversation with the landlord of the house that I lived in when I lived on 14th Avenue in Kenosha, he claimed that his houses were the only ones in the neighborhood that were not in the Section 8 program. I was never able to find an opportunity to verify this claim, but I do know that when 3 of the houses did go up for rent, I did look at the advertisements looking for new tenants, and all 3 of them did say that they accepted Section 8. Once again, I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional, but I do understand the fact that if you gather all of your housing assistance recipients into one place, you've essentially separated two societies within your city, and it's easy to keep them from crossing paths by urging one side or the other, oh, you better not go into this neighborhood, or you better not go into that neighborhood for one reason or the other. In addition to failing education systems that are associated with both points, these are issues that are plaguing the African American community today. And some of these are issues that Candace Owens herself spoke out against when she was blogging as Red Pill Black. Therefore, these must be some of the thoughts that West is citing when he says that he likes the way that Owens thinks. Now, I'll admit that I don't know anything about Kanye West's background. I know a little bit about when he came onto the scene. I know a little bit about his Hurricane Katrina comments. I know he is known for being embroiled in controversy at many points throughout his career, and I know that he's famous for marrying Kim Kardashian, who is famous for... I don't know what she's famous for this week, I'm not going to lie. But I do know that Kanye West is a household name and a cultural icon, and has been for many years. There are a lot of inner city black youths that look up to Kanye West for ways that they can change their lives and get out of the inner cities and make their names on the world stage. And that is a part of the reason that this story is making so many mainstream headlines and making so many people on the left side of the aisle and in the mainstream media so nervous, in spite of other things that are going on in the world stage as we speak. Now, Kanye went further than this. He doubled down after all this controversy and decided that he was going to be an ally to President Trump. He proudly waves his MAGA hat, which has been signed, and has been cited as saying that he and Donald Trump are brothers in dragon energy, whatever that means. And in addition to this, a rapper who I honestly have no idea who he is, Chance the Rapper, came out very shortly after and said that black people don't have to be Democrats. These are two very dangerous ideas for the Democrat Party and in the black community as a whole, and I'd like to take a second and explain why. One of the most commonly held beliefs in modern politics is that anybody who is a Republican hates everybody who isn't a white Christian male, and that Donald Trump is a racist devil for citations of, well, I guess I've never actually really heard a citation of what he's done to harm the black community, but he's automatically a racist. Therefore, Kanye coming out and saying he's in support of Trump is a dangerous notion, yes. But the more dangerous notion came into the front of my mind during the Chance the Rapper comment. I'm on the record, both written and in video, saying that a successful Donald Trump presidency is going to change the political landscape, and hopefully for the better, and make our political system more by the people for the people. A political outsider achieving the highest office ever on his essentially first try is going to change the way that politics runs in our country. But no matter what happens with the Trump presidency, in 2 or 6 years, Donald Trump is going to fall into complete political obscurity. He's not going to matter anymore, and that's the way our system was designed. However, the words and thoughts of Candace Owens, Kanye West, and even Chance the Rapper, even though he's jumped the opportunity to walk back what he said, have the possibility to change the political landscape and potentially policy for generations to come. A president can only directly affect public policy and social change while he is in office. However, if an entire generation of young blacks decides to go out and think, I don't want to say for themselves, even though that does seem to be some of the narrative, but if they decide to go out and vote with what they actually feel rather than what they're told to vote by their parents and by the politicians that are handing out the welfare money, that has the potential to change the way that our country works for generations to come and affect race relations and could really bring us into a true state of equality with each other. And there are people on both sides of the aisle that say that West only made his initial tweet and the ones that followed for attention or for the fact that he wants to put out a new record or do something else famous and have the publicity to do so. But whether he was serious or just looking for attention, Kanye West's tweet put the seeds into a lot of minds that are going to change the scope of the upcoming election, and I look forward to seeing how the political landscape changes as a result of it. What are your thoughts on the Kanye West tweets, and what are some of the positive things that you'd like to see come out of a political landscape change in the near future? I always welcome thoughtful discussion in the comment section below, and especially over on Twitter. That is at EdsBlogTwitter with a 1 in place of the I. Thanks as always for watching, and remember, never take the words of bloggers, podcasters, or journalists as gospel. Find all the facts and draw your own conclusions. Take care, everyone.
You're